Okay.
Still disappointed in you.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. So the deal with my TV.
I just got some serious deja vu. Did you guys feel that? Or
Yeah, I've never been to this place before.
Oh, shut up.
This movie's like 4 out of 10. Can we stop now?
All right, then. See you guys next time.
you
Next
gave it a
episode will
7
be-
on Letterboxd, dipshit.
Okay. No. It's okay. Yeah. No.
Oh, did I even rate it? I don't think I
Seven's
rated
funny.
it.
Oh, and let me. I should
I'm
follow
an
you,
IMDb
Mari.
boy.
I just. Oh, fuck you then.
No,
Get
yeah,
out of here.
sorry.
It's gross.
Maybe I should make a letterbox. I did not rate it. Let me rate it right now.
IMDb is for casuals. Letterboxd is for casuals that are at least
Yes.
trying to not be casuals. They're at least putting some effort in.
Or you could just
I
not
mostly use
create
mine-
accounts on websites so that way they can't track your information.
I just use it to
Soy
keep track
thinks
of
that
what I've
he's
seen.
safe on Discord. He thinks that his information is safe from the government.
Well, Soy is the computer guy, so maybe he's,
Soy is the computer,
he's-
actually.
he's-
So.
I don't know. I forgot what I did in Hacknet.
Soy
And
is what happens
other
if you don't unhook Hal's logic centers in 2001. If you just let it ride out,
becomes
you
a cool
eventually
guy
get Soy.
with
Yeah,
the best burns.
yeah,
Palo Alto.
They're not even that great. You
2013.
guys just suck.
yeah.
See,
He's not
again with
wrong.
the singer. Directed by which Coppola? Gia
Coppola.
She the
Gio
younger
Coppola.
or older
Coppola's
sister?
granddaughter, I think.
Oh,
I
granddaughter.
imagine
Never mind.
it's the younger sister since she just started making movies like less than a decade ago.
Okay.
But I don't know.
This, as told by Dunk, this is the movie he loved in high school, and he wasn't sure if it would still be good watching it again. And we all have those movies, and I think this holds up if I liked it in high school and rewatched it again.
Yeah. If it was a brand new movie that was not presented to me like that, I don't know how much I'd like it, but it's very. I think I like it a lot.
There are
Actually.
so many generic things in this, like especially when Emma Roberts puts her hand out the window in slow mo, and I'm like, oh my god, that's just parody right there. That's what that is. Almost
That's
entirely.
when you got to get down on Friday.
Exact. Oh no. I did not know.
I love timely references. I love just being the source of timely.
I
original
love
references.
Rebecca Black. Honestly, have you guys seen the Rebecca Black image? We
just
all have
rubbing
seen
the
it.
bridge
It's
of my
fucking
nose.
beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I can visualize it.
I said this before, but I did not know that Nat Wolff, who's in this movie, is related to Alex Wolff, who's in other
I can't believe I have to hear
movies.
this again. I can't believe
Nat
I
It
have to
Wolff
was
hear
so
was
this
the
good
again.
one
last time.
who's they're both Naked
No,
Brothers
wait,
band.
we
but,
didn't
like,
do this before.
I guess it's mostly my fault because I did not like Naked Brothers band. I did not get it.
Turn-
Were
yeah,
they a
yeah,
band or did they have
turns
a
out-
show?
Oh
They were a
my
band, right?
god!
Big Time Rush. Big
All
Time
right,
Rush.
no,
Time
we
Rush
gotta
had the
look.
show,
Look,
Naked
okay,
Brothers
we're gonna
did
have
not,
to.
yeah.
Mari's gonna need a more comprehensive explanation, so we need to go all the way back. So a long time ago in the '60s, there was this thing called the Monkees, and it was a band
hey.
and a show.
And then
And
now
that
there's the Wolves,
formula
right?
was ripped off and copied many times over for children and other audiences.
Wait. The Monkees is
You
the
had this
basis
ready.
for this, not the Beatles.
Yeah, the
'Cause weren't the
famous
Monkees-
show The
That's just boy
Beatles, the
bands in
famous
general.
television program The Beatles.
Okay, so we're talking TV show wise. Yeah, okay.
Oh my god.
Anything referencing a famous rock band doesn't have to do with the Beatles? What?
I'm gonna actually go and talk to the Down syndrome kids at the orphanage about doing a movie podcast.
I mean, you
I
guys
think I'll
don't
have
remember...
better luck.
Well, I mean, you guys don't
Say hi
remember
to
that
my
classic Monkeys film? We all live in a brown bathy sub.
Yeah, you
brown
mean
Donkey
bathy
Kong's
sub.
house.
you mean like
Brown
mathematically
Bathy
the
Sub.
worst Beatles song? Like you can actually calculate it? You can actually
Probably. I don't know. I'm not much of a Beatles fan.
I'm
so I
I'm
couldn't
over
really
here
tell
with
you.
the thing of chalk on a blackboard,
I got Revolver
drawing
on vinyl.
elaborate
I like it.
equations of calculus, and then it just equals Yellow Submarine is trash.
I've listened to like 3 Beatles songs, and that's about it. So
Hell yeah.
I'm not really the one to argue this point. I haven't even
I
seen
love-
the movie, so
I love that this fucking movie is just like it's about rich kids being shits and
Yeah.
getting
Just like in
getting
the wild.
raped as well because Emma Roberts
yeah.
gets raped and then Val Kilmer's kid almost gets raped, and my theory
Kilmer's
is
kid
that
is Emma
that
Roberts' kid,
scene.
right? I'm sorry.
And my theory is that scene strongly implies that Nat Wolff's character has been raped by that same guy.
Yeah, I wrote that thing in.
So
great.
I love that it parallels the fact that these are all Hollywood kids. Because you have Val Kilmer's kid, directed by Francis Ford Coppola's child or grandchild, either one, I don't fucking know. And Julia Roberts' niece in this movie about rich kids who are constantly getting raped.
It's an interesting
It's poetic
parallel.
in a way.
I was very surprised by the Val Kilmer cameo. I was like, "Oh, sweet, he's a deadbeat writer. Is he gonna be in this more?" And he was like gone, and I like forgot about him.
Yeah, and he just kind of fucking...
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
He just rewrites Emma Roberts' paper and just fucks off.
And he's not entertaining.
Oh,
he just sort of
that,
drags
yeah.
the pacing to a crawl when he's on screen, and there's kind of no point for it at all. Yeah.
It's
I
only
thought
just...
there was going to be like a weird abusive stepdad timeline because he was like really serious when he said put that dog down or whatever he said, but then just nothing happened with him.
What were we saying, sorry?
I don't know. I've lost my train of thought given the previous
Talking
conversations.
about Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
We had like 3 fucking re-recordings of this because I
watching
fucked up
this movie,
Audacity.
I was like, "Oh, this is gonna have like everything," and it kind of did, except for like teen pregnancy or like a suicide or like
No. You need
I
to
thought
watch...
it was gonna be that where like
you need-
everyone spirals down.
Yeah, you need to watch UK Skins, because that's what UK Skins is.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually love Skins. It's a good show.
Why watch
was
UK Skins
for
when
a
you watch
while.
13 Reasons Why, the epitome of
Epitome.
dramas.
We
That's
are
good
not
pronunciation.
we are not doing anything
I-
related
man,
to
I-
13 Reasons Why because I refuse to support that show. In
Oh,
any
quit
way
being a
possible.
fucking
I hate
faggot.
Saying it's fucking.
I have a vivid memory.
Fuck you,
I have
fag.
A vivid
Shut
memory
up,
of saying epitome to my dad in 7th grade and having him laugh at me for pronouncing that wrong. So I'm glad that Mari is, so ahead of the curve.
Well,
like,
on
I
the,
didn't have
on the
anyone to
intelligence
laugh at
level
me
of a
but my
seventh
the
dad.
grader.
epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good positive energy in here
This is a
today.
great
yeah,
podcast.
It's really,
I
it's
love
really
this.
going well.
I love this
Um,
podcast. I love that I have to edit it. I love everything about it. I like this movie.
Yeah, I
like
thought
this
this movie
movie.
was all right.
Um,
It kind of hit a cornerstone
It
with
was
me
not
as well,
as-
dealing with rich white kids.
it was not as bad as I thought. Sorry, dealing with rich kids. No, but I liked it because I feel like I could relate to a lot of it because a lot of the similar shit happened to maybe not me, but definitely to my friends. Like fucking Fred and Teddy are literally just two real people that I know that are my best friends. And they're fucking assholes.
Your friends are
Fred
Fred?
in real life,
That's
fucking
crazy,
asshole.
dude.
Teddy's I've known.
But
a lot,
Teddy is
but
chill.
Freddy's is
I
what,
love
what
Teddy.
Those dipshits wanna be. Because Fred
Yeah.
gets away with a lot of stuff. It seems.
I love Teddy in real life and in this movie.
I'm good on that.
He's the best character
Oh
by
yeah.
far.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Fred.
Because again, I will state that it's like the only good performance in the entire thing. I mean, like Emma Roberts is
Yeah,
okay.
well, we're doing like the 3rd recording today, so we had to.
Emma
re-mention
Roberts
that.
is like fine, but it's not very noteworthy. I don't know. She
Yeah.
probably has never really been that great of an actress. Nepotism, beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
She pulls off her role of like dreamy teenage girl who would fuck a
Yeah,
teacher.
I bought that.
Well, yeah, because she's
Like, she
it's such a
works with
blank
that.
slate. Most of it, like there's no.
It's very true.
The film tries to portray her like there's some sort of like rich interior, sort of psychology happening, and that kind of just isn't being communicated at all. It's mostly just her sitting around doing stuff.
There are a few times when we get a peek at what's going on in her head, like the scene where she's talking to, like, I think it's a guidance counselor talking about college, and then she leaves in the middle of it.
Yeah, and that's like them trying to cram the entire character arc into like one 5-minute sequence.
I think it is. I mean, even if it's a small part of what could have been, I think it still factors into what I think the major theme of this movie is. That is the impulsiveness and rashness of youth,
Yeah.
and lack of
like,
lack
for
of impulse
example-
control among rich kids.
Yeah, especially when Teddy. That's exemplified when Teddy gets into that car crash and then he just drives away like he said he would. And then that gets him in a whole lot of shit, and he has to do community service and like be a.
My
decent
theory
person.
about that is that he was like Oh god, how do I even begin to explain this? It's so fucking abstract.
The car was a plant from James Franco.
Yeah, dude. That's what I was gonna say, bro.
It was all planned.
No. It's like he has like a bit of a depersonalization, derealization experience where it's like because he'd had the hypothetical discussion with Nat Wolff earlier, when it happens, it doesn't register as a real event occurring. It still registers as a hypothetical.
Yeah.
So what he does is his hypothetical response because that's what he thinks of immediately. It's like a reference rather than a real event. And because he's so fucked up, he doesn't realize that doesn't make any sense.
I see what you mean.
And again, another aspect to that impulsiveness is just there are a lot of references to that, I feel, throughout the film in terms of understanding the intent behind actions and how the principal characters don't necessarily have that. Like there's the scene where what's her name? April, Emma Roberts' character, is getting help from James Franco's character on her paper, and James Franco's like, well, for your history paper you have to pick a certain event and go over why did it happen, things like that. And then you have the scene in the beginning of the movie, and then later near the ending, the discussion between Teddy and Fred, where it's like, oh, if you could go back into the Middle Ages, who would you be? I'd be a king. No, you can't be a king.
You can't be the fucking king, dude.
No, you're not allowed to be the king. Well, why? You're not allowed. No.
'Cause the fact that you said that means you wouldn't be royalty, dude.
I don't even know what the fuck that's
that conversation.
supposed to mean.
Yeah, no, that conversation made me think that I was gonna love Fred and hate Teddy, but it quickly turned the other way around as the movie.
You realized Fred is a psychopath.
Because Fred turned out to be a psychopathic asshole, and Teddy just wanted to be a good person.
Fred is so excessive and over the top that it kind of works. Because it's like, I feel like he's genuinely having like some kind of emotional crisis. And this...
Like, if it was a realistic crazy-ass teenager like that, like, it would be kind of interesting, but a bit boring to watch. But the whole driving down the wrong side of the road shit and, like, crashing into a wall...
Those are good-ass bits. He's a king.
Yeah, it helps the sell.
But like I think my main interpretation of this and the main takeaway, the thing that I think is the most interesting is sort of like the duality of what we spend the most time on, which is mostly Teddy and April pussyfooting around, smooching each other at house parties, and it's just sort of like that's the foreground, and like in the backdrop is like heavy implications of like horrific emotional and sexual and physical abuse like everywhere else, and it's like we've decided to focus in on the least serious character arc,
the eye of the
entire
storm.
Yeah, and it's almost like teenage perspective in a way, the way that it prioritizes hopeless romanticism over anything that could be practical or meaningful or just anything. But it's like the unreciprocated melancholy of infatuation is the only thing that we bother to spend any time on.
It's almost purely physical.
Yeah, especially
at least in the beginning, anyway.
Yeah, which this movie takes way too long to get started.
I agree.
Yeah, this is a
I could
weird
tell it was
movie
gonna
to
happen,
talk
but
about,
it was
honestly.
like, oh, okay, a little bit late, but whatever. Not that there was much out of it, because it like resolved, because like the conflict of that short story or scene, like I don't know, I don't want to say resolves itself, but like it dies off pretty quick, I think.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'll cut this out. But it's fine if we have like long pauses between sentences. I'll just cut it together.
Wow.
Don't feel bad.
You mean like basic editing?
I'm
You mean
saying
I
don't
was
feel
about to
bad
say,
if you say
you mean
something
like you should
and
be
then no
doing-
one says
You
anything.
mean like 101? Yeah, I'm glad that you can do that.
No,
I'm glad
dude.
we hired someone.
Ryan,
who
make
knows
a
how to do
version
that.
of this where it's only the dead spaces, so people can drive knowing that we're there with them.
Good
But we
idea,
don't want to
dude.
bother them driving.
Yeah, it's the experience of falling asleep in Discord voice chat.
It's the experience of driving, of being on the
It's
road trip and everyone's sleeping, but you have to be the one driving.
We're an authentic podcast, ASMR podcast of your Discord. talking to your
Thankfully,
Discord friends
this is
about
the
shitting
only
on
artistic
immediately tonight.
medium that doesn't require any proof or substantiation of authenticity, which is why I've chosen to spend time on it.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, back to it.
Oh, you can keep that in. I don't
Uncut.
give a shit.
I am cutting out whatever I want to fucking
You're
cut
right,
out,
no one
Mari.
checks anyway.
You're probably gonna cut out yourself saying fag.
You're not even gonna watch the
No, I
episode.
don't, because I'm supposed to be trusting you.
I could put in an hour and a half of Saudi Arabia.
That would be a good ass
ringtone.
bit. I
What would
kind of
that
wish
be?
you would
Saudi
do that.
Arabia ringtone music.
Ringtone music? Did you mean
Not
you
Saudi.
just want to say like ISIS, but you don't want to say ISIS?
I didn't want to say.
They're
That's
also
not
not
ISIS.
in Saudi Arabia.
Like Middle Eastern ringtone.
That was wrong on
Fucking
both
whatever.
your parts. Anyways,
Doesn't that one song in this movie, the butterfly song that plays in like the first 10 minutes, isn't that like a ringtone on like every shitty Chinese flip phone or
That's
whatever?
a DDR song.
Oh, okay.
I have no
Probably.
idea.
It's like a remix of it. And then there was also Day Outward with like the early hit
Yeah,
with
yeah.
with the I'm a Ninja.
Most
Which I was
of
like,
the music in this show,
Oh, yeah.
Nice
in this
iPod-y
movie,
shit.
I do not like. I think it's
Oh.
too glossy, too positive, too like. It's like it thinks it's
Yeah.
introspective, but it kind of just isn't. That's how I feel about
But
Blood
then,
Orange.
but
is
then
that
in
it
that
like
case, wouldn't it work because it's a movie about high schoolers?
well, yeah, but it just feels kind of like empty.
Just
Feels
off,
really
yeah.
vapid most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, the only music that I like is when what's his face Kilmer is playing is riffing on his guitar, and it sounds like some shoegaze record I found on
Yeah,
Bandcamp.
the song Teddy plays.
that's
It's,
cool.
it's-
That fucking hit too close to home because that's some shit I would.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it works.
Like,
But
4
like
years
the
ago.
Blood Orange tracks are like Blood Orange like thinks that it's we were partying and now it's 3 a.m. and now we're thinking about stuff, and it's like no, that's like 2013 era Childish Gambino. What you're doing is just kind of vapid emptiness and doesn't really contribute anything. It just kind of fills up space.
I mean, 2013 Childish Gambino could be party music too, but I know what
Yeah.
you mean. Yeah.
Also,
I
what kind of fucking art teacher looks at Nat Wolf's abstract interpretation of titties and goes and talks to him about how it sucks? Isn't the whole point of art class that you're supposed to just like
Yeah, what the fuck
Just,
was
like,
up with that art
express
teacher,
yourself,
actually?
dude.
He said some
Was that a
weird
I
comedian?
shit.
think what
It was community
no
service, yeah.
what?
Soy?
It was a
Soy?
fucking art class
What?
in school. You know they have art classes.
That does explain why.
I mean,
why
I
Fred
don't
was
think
there.
I'm not sure if it was a class or not because Nat Wolf or Fred rather wasn't there for like the first time that we saw that.
Yeah, I figured he joined after because he met Teddy in the library and he fucked up with those.
Because Fred
Well,
can't
what-
hang out with
those
anyone else
books.
unless he can sleep
But
with them.
his community service is to draw at the nursing home. Why would his community
Or
service
not
be to
not
draw?
not community service, but like something that is done at a community center, like it's a public thing. Because there were people that were
Yeah.
definitely not high school age in that
That's,
group.
that's what.
That's ageism, dude. You can be an old man and still go to high school. No, I'm just fucking with you. I mean,
You
yeah,
can be an
sure,
old man
whatever.
and
It
still
doesn't fucking
Yeah,
matter.
have you not
Soccer-
seen the Adam
soccer
Sandler
player.
movie?
It honestly could not matter less where the art class takes place. But
I
yeah,
mean,
that
I
guy
think
sucks, is what I'm saying.
I would think that if it was in a classroom scenario, I would think that maybe the criticism could be valid if it's like, okay, I want you to do this as an
Right.
assignment. But
Sure.
if it's like, okay, let's just meet up and paint something, then yeah, criticism, I don't really see where that would fit unless
Yeah.
it's like, okay, now you're just like shitting on someone. Now you're peeing on the model. Okay, stop. I don't care what modern art statement you're trying to make with this. Stop urinating on our model, please.
It's conceptual. It's not my fault you don't get it, okay?
It's not my fault you don't understand the mantra of what I'm trying to say is that we have too much runoff water in our agricultural system, okay? And it's all flowing into the Mississippi River Delta, all right? And it's
Yeah.
killing all the fish.
That's so literal that you've wrote yourself into a corner. Because like I was going to defend you if it was going to be a work of abstract urination, performative urination.
I was
the
trying
fact
to
that you
put
have a
myself
very-
I was trying to put myself into the mind of someone who would actually do that.
Yeah, but I don't think someone who had like a really basic allegory would do that. I think you'd have to be so pretentious that you think it's like it means the universe to do something like that.
Unless you're like an environmental protester secretly.
I like the direction this has gone. I'm happy with it.
Dong? Didn't you
Nat
say
Wolff.
you thought Fred's dad molested him? I
Yes.
thought that too. 'Cause
Absolutely.
That's the one way to make sense of
He's-
how shitty he is.
He must
It's
have
definitely
been
one important aspect to it.
molested at a very young
Why bring
age,
it up in the movie?
perhaps
That-
continuously until his current situation, and it has impacted his sexuality because I'm pretty sure that he is like heavily repressed
yeah.
homosexual urges.
Mm,
And I love, I like, normally it would be a criticism to say that, oh, but these things aren't fleshed out. But again, I think the dynamic of having the really basic shoegaze teenage bullshit in the foreground while this like quietly happens in the back is kind of fascinating. And it kind of makes it work on a level that it normally would.
Yeah, it's got some. This movie's got its moments. It's where with really good direction and shit.
The best argument for that is probably the scene where the narrator, where Fred narrates what happened to Emily at the party when they're in like the backyard, and it's like we don't see any of it. We don't even see like the event that happens in. It's just sort of like because like that's not what we're being shown. It's not what we're here to see in a sense. It's like back burner. You have to just acknowledge it in the abstract rather than actually experience it firsthand.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is cool, but not like
Nothing
a
groundbreaking.
masterpiece or anything. Yeah,
I thought the
Yeah.
technical aspects were good. Nothing really like crazy because there was the stuff
It
that
wasn't
everyone else was
mind-blowing.
doing with like similar movies and similar indie kind of movies.
Didn't have a thin
But
veneer
overall
of
it was-
coal dust, or what was it that you said that Watership Down had?
yeah, it was like what is it? Charcoal pencil drawings where everything was like, I don't know what I said, but like I know what I'm talking
I watched
about.
like the first 12 minutes of Watership Down. I know what you
Yeah.
mean.
Was this filmed in Palo Alto? I'm not even gonna do that. Was this even filmed in Palo Alto?
I don't know.
I didn't even
that
check.
that just degenerated into
I mean, the last thing I was thinking of was Palo Alto, but it is a very California movie.
I don't know enough about Palo
Now
Alto.
that I think
to
I
tell
don't.
you
I don't
if
think
it
it's
matters.
California specifically. I think it's just fucking rich kids in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, shitty.
I mean,
rich
the-
white
those
the
are
kids.
ni-
definitely all over the place in California.
But the California hedonism, like, rich kids are so hedonistic that it kind of just looks the same across all rich kids. The California hedonism only stands out in different age groups where it's not placeless to be hedonistic, apathetic,
Yeah, I
nihilistic
mean,
shit.
that's what I was saying before, where this kind of hit a cornerstone with me because, I mean, I was not a rich white kid, but I definitely knew several rich white kids.
Yeah.
And they definitely indulged in similar activities. I can recall one time a guy jumped off the roof of his house into his swimming pool while not in his
Yeah.
right state of mind. That was pretty fun.
That rocks.
He hit the
I mean,
pool
I
pretty
know-
cleanly, but he got a pretty nasty red spot all over his back.
Yeah.
Jumping into shit.
I know
terrifies me.
people, I know people who are just like a lot of characters in this, but they're definitely not rich at all. In fact, they're very poor, really. And it's interesting to compare them because like you guys don't know them, so it's like weird, but I don't know, cause Teddy, he's such a by the end of it, I feel like he's actually like
Yeah, I
learned
feel
a
that
lot
too,
of shit, and he's genuinely a good person, but like Fred being a fucking psychopath, just they completely cut each other off, and that's
Fred rocks,
I
dude.
don't know, that's
He's
similar
killing it.
to something I've seen.
I knew you'd like Fred.
Like,
Fred's
Fred-
probably- Fred, you wanted to be Fred Dunk in high school. I bet you did.
Yeah,
I still want to be Fred.
nihilistic.
Not the
very-
abuse
Yeah.
part, but
Yeah.
like, just
The
being
pushing
like
girls
Which it-
into pools and then
Knife
no,
with a knife and the
just
drug dealer.
just kind of
Right,
being a
the-
chaotic, nihilistic gremlin who just goes around ruining everyone's day.
I mean, no one's
Which is
stopping
kinda
you
what I
from doing
do.
that.
I feel like I already kind of do it a little
being a
bit,
goblin.
but
I don't know, man. You could use a bit more knives in your life.
oh yeah, you think?
Drug dealers. Yeah.
Knives are passe.
A bit more knives
That's true.
going out.
What do you mean
Ryan.
that's true? You're just going
We're not
back and
watching.
you.
Ryan, you're fired.
No, I'm not. I'm a slave. I'm never hired.
That's true.
It's true.
keep
Is that
saying
how
I'm
you're getting
fired.
out of
I
the
was
contract?
never hired at all.
Oh, because you enslaved me.
I'm
you
not
can't
getting out of
fire
any
me.
contract. I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna keep being your fucking slave, and you're not.
See, we
gonna
have an
stop
interesting
it.
definition of how we fire people. What we do is we tie you up to this nice long wooden stake. We pile some logs up around you, and then we light a match, and we just set them on fire. But unfortunately, you were also set on fire. So
It's just an unfortunate
That's
side effect
unfortunate.
of the procedure. It's not intended, or
I will not let this podcast die ever. I am going to keep its Frankensteinish body alive.
no, I don't. I don't know why it's so dead
forever.
today. I couldn't tell you. It can't be just
prob-
me. It
I
has
don't
to
know
be
if it's the
more than
movie.
just me.
no, it's
No, it's me too.
it's also me. I'm also very tired. I went to bed at like 4 a.m. last night,
Yeah.
which is a
Also,
lot
actually.
later.
This is
than
an
normal.
unfortunate episode
I
of
didn't
the
wake
podcast.
up till 1.
But
Or 12.
Oh, boo.
Get his
I'm
ass.
I'm
How
not
Get his
competing.
ass,
I'm
dude.
just like I also suffered.
no. But the movie is good. It's interesting. I'd probably give it another watch just to try and figure out.
So-
more
so
I
stuff
think you
about
could
it.
use like 20 minutes shaved off of it. It really doesn't need
I
to
could
be
see that, yeah.
very long, but you know.
It's not very long to begin with. It's
I
like-
know, but
Yeah.
I get a little fatigued
100
with
minutes.
the
So
traditional angst.
Did you have more to say about when you before we started? You were like, the movie's about what was it? Decision making.
psychology of
Did you have more to
decision-making.
that? Yeah. Did you have more to that? I mean, if you didn't, that's okay. I just
Well, it's mostly just, I mean, that's another cornerstone that I felt was hit with Teddy's character, at least from me. Not necessarily for myself, because I didn't hang out with a whole lot of people in high school. I was very closeted. But I knew a lot of people who behaved like that. Not necessarily to the level of Fred. At least as far as I know. I mean, I knew some people who could probably be classified as that, but they
Right, but they were very impulsive.
well, they were accosted by the police before they could do any real damage. Let's just say there was one guy who brought
Yeah.
weed brownies to school spring semester of my senior year, and that was a fun 30 minutes of lunch taken away while we had to get sniffed down by drug dogs.
I haven't talked to them in a while, so I won't mention their story. But a similar shit.
A
has
similar
happened
event did take
to some
place.
of my friends.
But yeah, just
Yep.
people or kids, teenagers, however you want to refer to them, just doing things and going with the flow, but not really thinking about the consequences of their actions. And especially going back to the first scene when there's that hypothetical scenario and relating to what Dunk said, there have almost been situations like that where it's someone will propose a situation and then they'll have to deal with it at some point later. Like, because I grew up in a pretty like upper middle class suburb of Atlanta, and we had like golf carts like everywhere. Like you could ride anywhere in the city in a golf cart.
oh wow.
And there were several parts or several questions that would be like, okay, well, what would you do? Or sorry. Okay, what would you do if you got like pinned down like underneath a golf cart, man? Oh, dude, I don't know. I feel like I'd probably just scream out for help. You know, something like that. It'd just be some
Sounded
stupid.
like you were doing Keanu with you in there.
Whoa,
I just crawl
I know.
out from under the cart, bro. Like,
I know how to
don't know,
drive
man.
a golf cart.
what do you mean?
Like, imagine having you right now,
But
dude.
there have been.
Like, you just got hit with a golf.
But I
cart.
remember. Oh wow, that's it. This is a lot more relevant now than I thought. Now that my memory is coming back, I remember being at my friend's house, and we did have a few drinks. And a few of my friends decided to run out to, I want to say Waffle House, and they had the bright idea of, okay, so going back to golf carts, how the golf carts were able to go throughout the city was we had this elaborate network of golf cart paths, like just asphalt paths that were just wide enough for a golf cart. But the nice thing about them was that you could use them to like get to anywhere from any place, so it was convenient. But the main draw behind them was that the police didn't patrol them, especially at night. So because two of my friends had had a little too much to drink, their decision making was impaired. They decided to have the bright idea of, instead of taking the main roads to the Waffle House, they would take the golf cart paths.
In a
And
car.
there are several parts in our town where golf cart paths run underneath roads, and there are rather small tunnels. Let's just say they misjudged the space that they could fit inside. And, well, it was like the first time a girl ever receives anal sex. It was a little rough, and no one came out clean. Mostly because the both of them received traumatic head injuries.
Oh.
And you just laughed at them.
Fuck.
No, you got me.
I didn't laugh.
Traumatic
I didn't think
head
that was a
injuries.
particularly good bit. I just, you know what, to be honest, it's not even the bit. I just hate that setup. I hate the setup where it's like, look, I like my bitches like I like my coffee. Black. Like that setup where it's like, as soon as you say like 2 words, I know you're making a joke. I feel like that's a lame setup. It's too...
I think there's one pretty
It's
bad
not
one
deceptive
that
enough
was,
to be a good joke.
It was like we like our food, how we like our violence, domestic.
Yeah, see that I just hate that setup. I mean, I love domestic abuse
Yeah,
jokes
no.
as much as anyone, but
Do you still feel
You're
a
much
lot
too
of
critical to be chaotic, I have to say.
a lot of the same stuff from?
I guess you're
from
right.
When you watched this in high school.
maybe I'm like a
What did you
neutral
think in
evil?
high school
What do you
compared
think?
to
Am I
what did you
neutral
think
evil?
about it now? I guess.
When I was in high school,
Yeah, how
I
has your
thought
opinion
spelling
changed?
cock for days with the fridge magnets was the pinnacle of humor.
So does Ryan.
And I also thought that shitty, apathetic, rich teenagers was the pinnacle of nihilism. So that's basically how I thought it was like a 10, essentially, because of this. Also, I had a crush on Emma Roberts. And I guess I kind of still do, but, I mean, the fact that she's not that great of an actress doesn't...
I
feel
saw
like
a
she didn't
picture of her
have
recently,
that
and she's 29, and she only has lines that extend from like the corners of her eyes, as though she has like claw marks. It was really weird.
Interesting.
She can make a comeback.
The best movie to watch her in is Nerve with Dave Franco, because she's in her underwear for like
I was
half an
wondering
hour.
when we were going to bring that up.
Yeah.
The other movie
I
with
thought
the
about
other
that
Franco
too.
brother.
That's all I remember about it, is that she's in her underwear for like half an hour.
'Cause she's
I
trying
don't
to
think
steal
it's like
a
half an
dress.
hour. I think it's like... I don't think it's that long.
No, but
been
it's longer than you would think. Like when people are like, "Oh, there's a
But
scene where
less
she's
than
almost
you would
naked."
hope.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
It's
Yeah.
enough for Dunk.
The sex in this movie is kind of the way these kids treat sex is it's interesting.
I think it's
'Cause
shot.
they
Slow.
say
I think it's shot
nothing,
very tastefully,
and it's
which probably helps that it was directed by
Yeah.
a woman, which is where a lot of movies fail. I think
That's
with,
true, yeah.
with portray.
yeah. I'm thinking of the blowjob scene at
Yeah.
that party.
Well, I think another factor is that they
like,
are
that's-
supposed to be kids. So I don't know if you can show that even if the
Yeah.
actors are like legally old enough.
But
The
the-
teenagers are almost always played by adults, especially in
Yeah.
Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's almost certain.
The silence and like they don't say anything to each other. It's not like they just kind of get up and go. It's really it's kind of surreal to me. I won't go into my sexual experiences, but it
They've
would
been
not
incredibly loud.
as cold. They were not as cold and heartless as that. I'd say. I
we
don't
should
know.
we
Soulless.
should
I
mention
wouldn't-
that this movie is kind of just less good Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and it includes
not seen that.
Yeah,
footage
they-
of Fast Times
It
at
does have
Ridgemont
this,
High
yeah.
in the yeah.
Yeah, because April
Interesting.
decides that that's a good movie for like an 8-year-old to watch.
As much as there are things that are kind of just Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the thing that hit me the most was when Franco and April have sex, and it's like the entire scene is just Franco being an incredibly inadequate sexual partner. Like it's just like from her perspective, and she's just like, okay, and then he's done. And it's like, oh, okay. Because in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, I don't remember who fucking plays the character, but a guy basically busts in
Jerry
like 2
Trainer.
seconds. and then gets her pregnant, and she has to get an abortion for like the worst sex ever. And it's like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah,
It's
that's
really
lame.
unfortunate.
When you have terrible sex and you have to have a
You
kid.
see the shitty James Franco thing, or how bad he is at sex is just the factor of like that's why he's like doing it with.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think like that's shown really well that it's like it's kind of like it's almost like suggesting the affection on April's part, but kind of distantly, as if it's skeptical of it, and then
it's like completely separate shot because like they're doing it and it's like a frantic medium shot and it that's the really intense close-ups to Emma Roberts, who's like it's like a different scene like she's like it's like she's not moving.
Yeah, it's like she's in a void,
and none of it's
something,
sexy.
and
It's
she's,
all cold,
like,
distant,
making weird faces.
completely unsexual, and it's like
it's makes
she
you
had the
really
wrong
uncomfortable seeing
panties.
him like go down on her.
yeah, and that's
She had
like
the
that's the
Thursday
closest it gets, but even that is like barely.
Yeah.
And then there's that weird line that's like, "I'm sorry, I it's not Thursday," and her panties say Thursday.
Yeah.
It's like,
It was
To
a
me,
dumb
I-
quality riff.
okay.
That's an important point because it's like she's taken part of her clothes off, so it's like James Franco's no longer listening to a single goddamn word she said. Like it's like he would normally be like, haha, that's funny, you're so funny, but then he's like,
and to me like
whatever.
the panties that say Thursday, it's also like that's a kid. That's not woman
Yeah.
panties.
Oh, yeah, that's
those
a
are like
child.
those are like
You were having
child
sex with a
panties.
It's not
Maury?
a girl trying to be
No,
sexy.
I'm not. I had similar briefs when I was a kid that have like
Ah.
cartoons on it.
I
Boy.
Did you have James Franco take off your pants
Guys,
too?
I'm not allowed to talk about this legally, okay?
you signed an NDA. You were 10, but you signed an NDA.
You live in California. I wouldn't be surprised.
But
No,
yeah, I
he
just
has
think
been
that
accused of shit.
I just think that whole scene is really well done, tastefully done, in a way that I'm sure that if a dude was directing it, he would fall for the temptation of making it like Nerve.
Showing
I feel
titties.
like the only boy
showing her
comparison is like
ass.
Super, maybe, right?
It's been too long since I've seen it. I can't even remember.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
That-
in
that similar
concept,
scene.
sure,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
and also the
I
way
don't
that
know
Franco
what
just
Super
sort of
is.
like shoves off her and bounces afterwards.
Yep.
Very
No.
inadequate.
That's what the B stands for.
Inadequate?
Mr. B. Yeah,
What?
his name's Mr. B.
Yeah.
Is he Mr. Bounce?
Oh, I thought you meant the B in James Franco.
yeah, that's what I thought too. I was so confused.
I mean, he is just playing himself, so I'll give you a break on that.
Basically.
Also, by the way, it is the worst advice I've ever heard to be like, look, you got to find the event that you're trying to write about in history and like list the causes of that. Just like let me just give you the most general advice possible.
The most bullshit to get you to come to my house.
Yeah.
Or
Which-
he's like
yeah.
you're not even listening to me. So
I
I'm just gonna say
love
that.
you,
to be-
April.
Which, to be
Sorry,
fair,
sir?
is perfect for high school, as it is stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I was smarter than my teachers. I didn't need to be there.
It's not just that, it's just more about learning the system than learning the subjects.
Yeah, it's
That's
not about
the-
being smarter than your teachers. It's not a fucking test of intelligence. It's a test of like
If it was, then high school would be a lot cooler.
it's really a test of submission to authority more than anything. I'm in college and I still think it's a test of submission to authority more than anything. I'm not trying to major in biology, and yet I must take it, or at least some science. Fuck
Well, yeah, I was
science.
about to say, wait. Also, I think you have to take, well, at least at my school, you needed to take chemistry first before you could take bio.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, don't you need to take like 4 or 6 classes of each?
Which is
main thing, and then you
ridiculous.
have to
Yeah,
do, like-
there's
well,
literally
not-
just-
Because I'm not like if I major in anything, it's going to be philosophy. So I'm clearly not trying to make money here. Why are you trying to give
You
me?
probably have to do. I think it's like
other
10
skills.
electives you have to do, or something.
I think
Why are you
it,
trying to like?
I think it varies from state to state, and
School to
also
school.
if you're a
It
private
varies,
school or not. But generally, you have to take a certain amount of gen ed courses. Like you have to take this amount of humanities, this amount of math, this amount of science, etc., and then you get into your major specific courses.
Yeah.
Unless you go general studies, in which you just do all that and then you're done. Isn't college great?
True sadness. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's so much better, dude. Trust me." It's like not really.
You
I
have
had a-
girls have so much more sex in
Oh yeah, I
college.
forgot about that line.
That's what.
Thanks, Ryan.
That,
yeah. Yeah.
Also, that whole scene of them in the bathroom. I don't. I mean, I know it was directed by a girl, but I have a feeling there's very few females who talk like that in the bathroom and piss next to each other and keep
No,
talking.
that is absolutely
mean,
real. What
I-
are you
Maybe I
fucking
don't-
talking about, dude?
I do not
That's
know
real
women.
from all the time I've
Have
maybe,
you ever
but-
been
into
into a
the girls'
woman's
bathrooms.
restroom? Can you
I have.
cite
Let me tell you,
accurate
they have
Absolutely not.
Yes, actually, I
I've
have.
not been in the
because
nice
I was
women's restroom.
a child, and so
I
my
have
mom would
actually
take
as
me
well
with her
because I
into
had
the-
I had a eek. There's a boy in the girls' bathroom moment. Literary
Rad.
literary
Oh.
Did you
reference.
go in accidentally?
You were like, hell yeah, I'm gonna fucking get some pussy.
Yeah, I was saying that like
I think I
fourth
looked.
grade.
I looked in there once and I was like, "Wow, that's clean," and then I went away.
So you guys are well.
Wow,
Ryan
they don't
is-
like spray all over the floor like we do.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't like there was anyone in there. I think I was in elementary school and I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna go into the girls' bathroom just to
Nice,
see
dude.
how it is.
I
and
remember
come
that being
out
such a
really
big
quick.
deal too.
Do you think like?
And then I went in and I was like, yeah. This
Do you
is
think
nice.
like that's woke to be able to just scope out other gender bathrooms?
to just go into a girl's
He
bathroom?
probably
without
thought it
even
was in
acknowledging the
elementary
women's-
school.
I mean, because if you really want to break it down, couldn't you argue that that's just a really minor instance of gender fluidity? Is like for a second you're like, let's go see what's in there, and that in and of itself is you having a moment of gender fluidity, which means you should be allowed.
Well, I wouldn't consider myself gender fluid.
but
it
if you
is very
were,
woke
for
to
if
say
you
that.
felt like you were in that period of time,
if I felt like I
then
was,
you'd have to be allowed
yeah.
in the bathroom to be woke.
Well, you'd have.
And
you'd
for the
have
record,
to-
when I say woke in this scenario, I mean I agree with this general premise that people should be able to use the bathrooms that they. I'm like not being fully ironic. I'm only being like 75% ironic. But
you
regardless,
need to
Yeah,
you
me
need to
too.
switch your gender to woman before you can pass through the female
Yeah.
force fields.
Yeah, you have
But
to
it's like
bring
you
up the
I mean,
can't-
I think non-binary is
You-
like the coolest gender because you can.
I mean,
just
it is
fuck
kind of
whatever you
cool.
want.
but I feel like it would be
pretty
dishonest for me to roll like that because
I mean,
just
a non-binary
I feel
character
dishonest
has
doing
the
that
best
shit.
character
I do
design.
that
because I just roll up in like cargo shorts and a fucking Wu-Tang t-shirt. I don't own either of those things, but that, you know, it's the
yeah.
principle of the thing. And I'm like, "What's
I mean,
up,
like-
bro?" And, you know, got my fucking energy drink in my hand, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm non-binary though. Check it."
Yeah, no, well, non-binary. I mean,
I
non-binary.
got like I
has the
haven't
best
bothered to
character
shave my
designs,
shitty
like,
beard in like a week, and I got fucking like stubble curling,
me
and I'm
neither.
like
I have a shitty.
haven't like
shitty beard.
showered
It's
in
like
3
a cute
days, and I'm
beard.
like, "Yo, what's up, dog? I'm trying to
Or my non
trying to see
non-binary
John Wick
shit's
3, and
non-binary.
also I'm non-binary."
I mean, I was gonna say a non-binary character has the best character design in any recent Pokemon anime, which is I forget their name, but they're in the newest.
This is
Pokemon
why you'll never
anime
truly be
series.
cool, is because you know about this Pokemon.
Also,
Well,
is
no,
the
it's
fact-
because
it-
my non-binary friends
Well,
brought it
also,
up
is
to
the
me.
fact that they're non-binary what makes the character design cool? Or
Yeah, I was
do-
about to
is
say,
that
Yeah,
just a
'cause
literary
they're-
effect?
Yeah.
No. It is. I like their character
So
design.
it's-
Hold on.
Okay, but you gave conflicting answers.
It is
to the
part of their-
question.
Yes, it's part of their character design that they're non-binary.
That's
'cause
not
they're
what he was
not
asking you.
One single. What was he asking? What are you asking me?
Is it? Do you like it for the social reason of non-binary representation, or do you like it aesthetically as a design, or both? Which is also a valid answer. Okay,
Both.
Fair enough.
Hold on, no.
But they just have a
It's
shitty name
The
that no one
only
can remember because it's shitty.
the only image that shows up on Google is a shitty meme, so you're gonna have to deal with
This
that.
is. I mean, this is for people who haven't seen the movie. This is actually pretty appropriate because it's like teenage minutia.
Yeah. 'Cause
So
true.
now we're just being childish and juvenile on our podcast and talking about
Okay,
bullshit.
who wants to
Yeah,
cry
it's
in
This will
front
be
of
my
the
the
last
woke version of the
episode before I
podcast.
shoot
Kind of
myself.
poetic. Soy, you are not gonna beat me to suicide, guaranteed. The race will not.
He didn't say suicide. He said last episode.
I'm gonna fucking. I'll duel you. The heart of the cards.
No, it'll be
Hell yeah.
it'll be what was that movie we watched last
Barry
night?
Lyndon.
Barry Lyndon. It'll be like that. We'll both
And-
shoot to the side, and then you'll shoot me in the leg.
Let's pivot to Barry Lyndon for the second half of the app because that movie fucking kicks ass.
Yeah, let's just talk about part
movie
two,
fucking-
or how Celluloid Goblins decided they didn't want to talk about shitty indie films.
Well,
and
mostly
wanted to
because
talk about
we
something fucking
we
interesting.
did everything we had to say and it was only 40 minutes and we didn't want to go under an hour.
Is there
Yeah,
any,
it's not
is there any of the
shitty.
shallower technical aspects we can talk about other than we already talked about acting? I said
I mean, because like
all
none
the
of it
other
is,
How do you guys
is
like the
that
ending?
notable. The ending is kind of
It feels
great,
like it's cut off like 10 minutes before,
Which is why I
something
like
else
it.
is supposed to happen, but I like it.
uh,
yeah, because it's sort of undefinitive as to where the characters are going to go next.
But yet
I feel
also
like-
it's
because Teddy-
it's like there is change that happens because it's the first time Teddy like shows resistance to Fred's psychotic bullshit.
Yeah, which
Pretty
is
much
just,
the
which
entire
is
time.
the
Yeah,
opposite
and-
of what happened in the first scene, which is
Right.
I don't know what happened to Fred between the movie, but for him to be the one that goes
And it's-
I mean, I guess I know what
I
happens.
think
but
Fred just got.
it's
I
ironic.
think the contrast between Ted and Fred is really interesting because Ted, because of his community service and everything, he definitely became much more mature and like nice. But Fred, he just kept on trying to do the same shit. He tried to get that girl to go in the pool and all that.
maybe
and, like,
it's
I don't
maybe
think
it's
it
like
was
because
necessarily-
he needs.
it wasn't necessarily just
Well,
that, but like
I'm just
that's
sa-
one of the.
Yeah, I
events.
think it was. I don't think it was necessarily that he became more mature. It was just more that because he was spending less and less time around Fred, more of that aspect of himself came to the
Yes.
forefront.
Yeah,
And then the opposite, for,
which is
for
another,
Fred,
which is also a similar
guess-
thing.
'cause I
that
guess
happened
Teddy
with
was
me and a few friends.
kind of keeping him in
stopped
check in
talking.
some way. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, not really,
because
but-
because Fred kept telling him to like quit bitching about April, even though it's incredibly obvious that April would absolutely fuck him if he just got in there. You know what I mean? So it's like Fred is just bringing this gaslight of untruth as psychotic, heavily in denial people tend to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Filming took place in November and December 2012, which I would have been in high school then. So
I would have been in fucking elementary
I
school,
don't
dude. Or
even know.
yeah, no, maybe middle school. I would be in
Because I was in
elementary school or
sophomore
early
year when
middle
this movie came out, so I might have even been in middle school.
Because I went to high school in 2014, I think. So I must have been in middle
babies.
school.
I was like, damn, this movie's like, I was also smoking Ryan amounts of weed at the time, so that definitely contributed to my thinking this was like,
Sorry, who?
That is
oh,
a pretty large
sorry.
amount.
Just cut that out and put in like Harold and Kumar
Big.
or something.
Many
Yeah,
amounts.
and
Harold
it'll
and
be
Ryan
super
Maher.
obvious. It'll be super obvious that you cut it, and then your mom will be like, why'd you cut that there? That was super suspicious of you to cut that, right?
What's
I wonder
that
why.
thing that you do that we're dancing around?
And now you have to edit. Now you have
What's
to
that-
edit this
what's
part
that
to make it
thing-
work, and that's the real challenge.
What's that thing that you do that I let you do?
Yeah, but you're the
it's
one who's
like
like,
you're
oh, I don't
cool
want
about
it to be on the thing, and it's so.
Well, okay.
To the point that
okay,
it's weird
okay,
that
okay.
we're even
I'll
talking
give
about
you a
this
word
at
to
all.
censor it with, okay? Meth.
Heroin.
Yeah.
Meth amounts of weed. Yeah, yeah,
No, it's smoking
weed.
Ryan amounts of meth.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's part of why I thought this was like, whoa, man. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a period of time where just like any movie that had any sort of teen angst that I hadn't seen before that was like new, and I would like see it and I'd be like, oh, this is the one. This is like the encapsulation of all existence. Because that's what marijuana does to you, man, is it implies significance when there is none. It's like a nihilistic
the
counter
things
to
I've been
nihilism.
told- Yeah, the things I've been told about marijuana is that it makes things very
The things that
That's
you've
sort of,
heard from
like-
through the grapevine. Through
yeah.
your
the
Fred-esque
studies
friends.
I've
Through
researched,
the weed vine, as it were.
the people I've
The
asked,
Reagan administration papers and monkey tests that I've read about.
God, we should do another Reagan, but we just make the monkeys really high and laugh
We'll
at
just
them
make
instead
another
of like torturing them.
That is animal cruelty, but okay.
Are you saying Reagan wasn't doing animal cruelty?
I am saying that, but I'm saying that you wouldn't be able to get off on just not killing them, and like that's fine. That it's not how it works. You're still drugging the fucking animal, and they can't consent. I don't know what you think the loophole is going to be there.
This is a fucking hypothetical situation. I'm not like, oh, we should fucking, dude, it'd be so funny. Like, it's for a bit.
When will
But
The
you know
Rock
how
run for
Dunk
president?
is.
Sorry,
ascribing
I-
ethics and morals to such things.
Usually,
Yeah.
like, if it was funny, I would know that it's a bit, right?
There is also that. I mean,
That's sort of like the cue. That's sort of the tell that helps me
You hurt
follow
me.
the. You know, I love you, Ryan. I'm trying to turn you into a.
Our late night calls where we watch the best TV show of all time.
Yeah.
you're not watching the
Which
newsroom.
may or may not be in a
Heil
future
Hitler?
sideshow.
You don't know what we're watching.
Heil,
actually,
honey, I'm home.
I wish there was
Me and
more
Doug
of
watched
that.
shit.
That show's fascinating.
Have they watched
I've
it?
Me and
watched
Doug
it.
watched
Yeah.
We watched one episode.
There's
to watch
only
all of
one
it,
episode.
and I was like, I have to keep doing work. Well, oh, there was only one. Okay.
And you didn't even want to finish
what
that
the
one
fuck?
episode, but I made
did
you because
not,
it was
no.
good.
Sure.
What are we talking? Are we talking?
Heil
about the
Honey,
same
I'm
show?
Home. It's a Hitler sitcom, and it's
Oh,
Yeah,
I
wasn't
thought we were
that
talking about
only-
Mr. Robot.
Wasn't there only one episode made of that?
yeah, because
canceled
apparently it
mid-
offended
mid-airing.
people. I don't know what they're on about.
I mean, it definitely
It's a really
lends
lighthearted
it,
sitcom.
It sounds like a really
well,
funny show.
It definitely
honestly.
lends itself to like a shorter series because I feel like if it got to the point where it's like season 3, season 4, season 5,
It
then-
can't, dude. It can't
Yeah, it
even
was
make it through
literally-
the first episode. It's not even funny. Like the concept is funny, but the execution is just
It was
so
just puns.
dull.
There was
Yeah,
so many
like
puns
Maybe the
and,
H
like,
bomber
oh, we
guy
got
Discord.
Jewish.
yeah, maybe the
Jewish
H-
neighbors.
Yeah, maybe they'd love it.
yeah, that.
No, I said maybe they canceled it.
No, they
So-
love it.
But
Oh
they
wait,
would
no,
love
they
it.
stopped listening anyway because Soy said the N word last one. So the fact that I said faggot in
Oh,
this
yeah.
one is fine. It doesn't matter. We're not going to
Faggot!
lose
Why
any more
say a
listeners.
bad word?
Whenever you want to, man.
Yeah,
you
you
have the freedom. You have
just
the
say it.
power.
Well, you have to. You're the only one of us who like has an actual like online
That's
presence,
true.
and you need your
That might-
dignity.
that might
Well,
be
yeah,
bad.
but the
And also
fact that
you
you're
have a
on this
job,
podcast is
so-
probably already enough to
bad
ruin
already.
that. You might want to consider like whether you actually want to be a part
Yeah,
of this.
has your
I'll figure
boss
it out.
seen this
Have you showed it
podcast?
to him?
Has he seen Bubble
No.
Boy?
Well, there's not much to show, to be honest. I showed the clips. for
You
sure.
just
He
like
laughed
you
at
should
it.
definitely consider if that's the kind of thing you want associated with your image.
Yeah, get him on the podcast. See what
I
his
should do
favorite
it.
movie
Yeah,
is that he
we'll
wants
talk
to-
Let's call up-
about
let's call
Star
him
Trek
up.
or the Warcraft movie.
That would actually be the
Wait, we
weirdest
talk about
fucking
Star
thing
Trek?
to have someone
I
like
can get behind
actually
that.
big.
I don't know. I don't know if he likes Star
Have
Trek
it-
that much.
have someone-
Actually, I think he is more Star
actually
Wars. I think
interesting
everyone
on
else
this.
is more Star Trek.
Supposedly, this movie was inspired a lot by Virgin Suicides, which I've never seen, but I'm
Never
going to
seen
see
it,
it
heard
in
of
the theater next week. So I guess I can speak on it more when I've
Hell
seen
yeah.
it.
I could probably take a stab at what it's about, although I know next to nothing about it.
It's Sofia Coppola's first film, so obviously.
Interesting.
But
What is okay? I don't think I know anything about the Coppolas.
you don't know anything
I'm
about
not-
the. Oh yeah, I forgot you haven't seen either of the Godfathers. You have not
yeah,
seen
so
Apocalypse
Francis Ford
Now.
Coppola did Godfathers, huh?
Yes, he did all
Okay.
3.
You haven't seen Dracula?
And then he had children that are also doing movies that are worse.
Lost in
That-
Translation
am I
is really
right?
good. Lost in Translation is like
Wait, that
um
I
That's
haven't seen
Sophia.
that, but I know that's a
Lost in
something
Translation
cool.
is probably comparable to Francis Ford's output, I would say. But other than that,
talk-
not really.
like-
No.
yeah, interesting. Well, maybe those will be good for future. I don't know. I definitely want to watch Apocalypse Now. I've heard that's
Yeah,
good.
because I
it's
won't
pretty
shut up
long.
about it. I personally will not shut up about it because it's amazing and I love it.
I like that it has. the
and
doors.
Godfather, I guess, but I feel like I'm gonna
Probably,
get
probably
really
do
bored.
the
You-
Godfather first.
Need to shut up and
What?
learn how to appreciate.
Are you
I
like-
haven't seen them. I'm being
You're like
honest.
intentionally provoking him at this point.
Well,
Yeah,
the
I don't
dumb
know.
thing is that we watched Barry Lyndon and he thinks that The Godfather is going to be too like slow paced, and it's like you really have no comprehension.
Whoa, hold the
of how
phone. They're
movies work.
filling out
I
checks.
may or may not have been fucking. No, I'm not gonna say that. Barry Lyndon's good.
Yeah, I like
Well,
that.
you
I'm
were
not
you
thinking
were
about
bored
it.
during. I mean, I know that you were bored.
I was bored for a decent amount of it, but I think
Yes,
I
but
could
you have to
appreciate
understand
it
that
a little.
Godfather normies like Godfather. I heard someone in Half
Yeah.
Price Books today talking intermittently about how great Avatar and Transformers and The Godfather were in sort of like a triplet.
Man, Jesus, what a group of
No.
movies. I'm so glad that this episode is like half of it is not even about the movie. 'Cause
I-
there's really not much.
I
to
think
talk
honestly,
about.
I think we should go for longer, and then just if we end up on some other bullshit, we just roll with it, vibe with it for a bit.
I kind of really need
I
to
don't know.
not
I mean, it,
because I gotta go do some
Oh
stuff.
well, that's fine.
Yeah, I haven't eaten yet.
Like I can go for probably
This
another
is
like 15
this
minutes.
is
We're all
actually
here. This could be the start of the video game.
in terms
podcast.
of production quality. This is actually just like a Come Town episode. This one.
Kinda
I mean,
is.
I'm legitimately
We've
like
actually just
I
shown
wanna
up and we're
have some
like,
stuff by you, Mari.
What was
what's,
that?
Podcast.
What'd you say?
I wanted to run some stuff by you about extra shows.
Oh.
Yeah,
no,
just
I have-
do,
I have my
fuck
own
it.
shows
Just
to
do
worry
it during the
about.
episode. It's great. No, leave
Yeah, I
it
was
in.
about to
Yeah.
say, like, what the fuck? Are we done? Do I have to pick the
This
next
is the
movie?
this is the most inefficient.
I apologize for all the one person watching.
So I've
this
been playing
consistently.
the ethnic cleansing recently. It's not very good. It's poorly made video
you're-
game.
This ethnic cleansing.
that,
It's not
that-
good.
Not one of your best, I have to admit.
Oh yeah, it was my game, right? I much prefer Final Fantasy 2 of my personal output, but
I
I
like
see.
Final Fantasy X a lot.
You like Final Fantasy?
probably
Which
shouldn't.
one?
I like 9.
10.
every game that is bad is one that I have personally
And
made.
I want to play 9, but
I really like 9 and 7. I think those
yeah,
are
I
definitely.
should just jump onto 9 because
You
I
also
was like,
play 5
I'll play
instead.
7, then I'll play.
You
9.
guys know which Final Fantasy
I think-
like.
I think
I'm
7
not
is
gonna
like
say
the
it.
perfect-
It's embarrassing.
Final Fantasy.
13?
I think 9 is like
No.
perfect
No.
for its settings,
Not
but
that bad.
7 is not.
Minus
is
3.
Like, is like the departure
3.
from that setting
classic.
of like fantasy shit.
I love Tidus and Waka and Riku and Yuna.
No, 10 is dumb. I kind of
And-
don't like
I like
10.
10.
I like it
I don't
because
like
it's dumb.
characters.
Dude, JRPGs are kind of
I don't
only
like
good
the
when they're
characters
dumb.
as much as
Unless it's
7
Mother
and
3.
9.
That's like the one exception.
What about Mother 3?
I pretty much only like JRPGs if
What-
they're dumb. But Mother 3 is the exception
Oh,
because
okay.
it's really smart.
Mother 3.
Don't
yeah.
say anything about it. Soy hasn't played it yet.
I don't know
Good.
anything about it. Much
Well,
about
there are
it.
Good.
3 mothers, and you have to defeat each of them.
Yeah.
I was gonna. It would have been really sweet if I did, but I was gonna, for my friend who was really into Nintendo stuff in middle school, for his like 15th birthday, I was gonna buy him the original cartridge of Mother 3.
Yeah.
But I didn't have enough money on
That would've
me.
been baller.
Like I barely didn't have enough, so. And I went and got him some Undertale merch instead.
Was it cheaper
Because he
then?
really liked Undertale.
The cartridge of Mother.
It was
3?
it was
It's still
right.
cheap.
It was like it
Oh,
was
is
like I don't remember how much it was. It was like maybe 100.
I
maybe
mean, it's all
80.
reproduction
I don't
cards,
remember.
but still.
Yeah, well, no, it was like the fan
Yeah,
translation.
saw,
that's what I'm talking about. It's a reproduction.
The only
cart.
one that exists.
Well, no, it exists in
yeah.
Japanese.
Yeah, I meant.
I saw a
for-
box copy of Banjo Kazooie for $10 at half price today.
That sounds.
It's
I got
probably
a
it
box
must be the
copy of Dino
revised
Crisis
version or
for
something
10.
to be
The
that cheap.
little one.
The revised version.
The 1.1 edition
Oh,
of
yeah.
Banjo or something. Whatever the cheapest version. It can't be like. It has to be a cheap version because no way it'd be
mean-
$10 otherwise.
I love how the podcast has.
Let's
like,
point it
nothing
out
to talk
again.
about
seamlessly gone
anymore.
from-
Point it out again.
It's seamlessly gone from like the podcast to our after.
You know, it
podcast
would
talk
be
that we don't
seamless if
record.
you would stop bringing it up.
Exactly. I mean, I don't
Right.
know.
Editor who has no sense of flow.
I don't know too much about the differences between 1.1 and 1.0. I know more about the differences between the Ocarina of Time ROMs.
Yeah. Well, I think those are more substantial anyway.
They edited out some imagery which people complained that vaguely looked like Islamic imagery. Nintendo's
Oh.
like,
Always
okay,
Islamic
we'll
and
change
imagery.
the soundtrack too.
But they
Stop
left
using
in
Islamic imagery.
they left in the scene where Zelda does the CBT.
What was that, Mari?
And then Ganon
What were you
turns into
yelling?
the Prophet Muhammad. It's always Islamic stuff that gets that games have to be like.
Well,
oh,
I
shit.
mean, at the time, yeah, it was.
You guys think they'd let me into ISIS?
Probably.
Okay, I'm gonna be really for real now. I really need to fucking pee. So can
Go
we,
take a pee.
do we have anything else to say?
I have nothing else to say.
Since this episode is a shitpost anyway, why don't you just go and we'll just keep riffing while you're in the bathroom?
Have
We
the
haven't even
sound of your
we haven't
peeing.
even
movie,
breached
and
an
you have to guess
hour
what
yet,
movie it
dude. We gotta at least shitpost until we've gotten a little over an hour.
Yeah, we got 2 more minutes for an hour.
Just go urinate,
That's why I was gonna say.
and
no,
we'll talk about.
I'm staying until the
I'm
end.
building a Gundam all this time. Not gonna lie. You're gonna hear a lot of.
I
You're gonna
love
hear a
this
lot of
podcast.
snips.
I've actually
like-
been playing Ethnic Cleansing this entire time. It's a very short game.
I've actually been very active writing my
I
new
couldn't decide what
thesis.
the next movie is gonna be. I'm not gonna lie.
What?
I have one
Really?
decision. I have
Well,
one.
then,
I know exactly what my next movie is gonna be, but I don't.
Ryan, you have a whole fucking month. Shut up. Go to the restroom.
I know.
Mari.
Wait, well, no, I thought it was gonna be after Mari.
You got-
No,
okay.
Soy is.
So-
oh wait,
so
yeah, no, you're
originally
right.
I was
no,
like-
no.
I forgot.
Maybe there's one musical that Soy that not Soy that Dunk might even
Oh
like. But
my
I was like, I'll just play it
God.
safe.
No.
So
No,
so
no, no.
with the recent Oscar win of Parasite, I was like, I want to revisit this movie of Bong Joon-ho. So I chose Memories of Murder, 2003.
Oh, good. I've
So
been meaning to
a
watch
s-
that for.
It's like a second movie, but like it's his first like really big hit.
You said musicals, so
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
thought
do-
you were gonna say Rent.
Yeah, if it
or
was
some
musicals,
shit.
I was gonna do 9 that had that was what's his name, Daniel Day-Lewis in a musical, believe it or not, or the producers, which is funny.
How about I rent an assault rifle from Walmart and kill
Like
it?
I said,
Maybe
this is
change
my
it to
last
9, and you
episode.
all have to. And you all have to sit. You all have to watch Daniel Day-Lewis singing about all the chicks that he's fucked, and he's got a really hot scene with
Oh,
Penelope Cruz, and Fergie, but she got a little fat, but she's a little thick there. But maybe next time we'll do 9.
Thick little thotty.
9's okay.
This is disgusting. What we're doing here.
This is a terrible episode. I'm glad we did it.
Um,
I like the movie though. 6 or 7 out of 10. depending on
you
how
gave it
feel.
a 7 out of 10 on Letterboxd.
I know I gave it. I know what I gave it on Letterboxd.
6 out of 10.
Letterboxd is
Closer
weird to
to
me
the-
because it's
closer
only
to
5
Letterboxd
stars.
is not
Over
real,
10.
huh? You realize that having stars and half stars adds up to 10? You realize...
It adds up to 10. I know, but the presentation of it feels like I should give it more because it's only 5 stars.
That is the
So I was
absolute
like, oh, I should be
dumbest
nicer
thing
to
I've
it.
ever heard in my entire life.
I don't know, man. My brain's fucking
In user
stupid.
interface design, we have a few different levels of users that are always taken into account when designing a user interface. There's the highest level user, which is the power user. They mostly use keyboard shortcuts, and they know their way around the interface pretty well. There's your normal level users who, they can use the interface moderately, but you chiefly design it with them in mind. And then you have the people who need accessibility content. So, like, vision impaired people, hearing impaired people who need
Cognitively
like-
impaired.
This is cool.
no, not in that group. They need visual cues or people with like color blindness and things like that.
Okay.
Then below that you have mentally impaired people, people with like you said, cognitive disorders, brain damage, things like that. Then you have corpses, and then you have Ryan.
Corpses.
And then you have...
Good bit.
I had something else, but I lost it. Because I'm really on fire today. I just want to keep Ryan here for long enough
Me
that
too.
he pisses
That's
himself.
why.
No,
That's
I'm
kind of
gonna
the bit.
fucking leave anyway. I will leave anyway.
That's the goal here.
I'm not.
It's nice when the
I'm
man
not
with the
committed
power
enough
to
to
edit
piss
it
in this
is
chair.
still
Are
like,
we
I have to
good?
stay because I might be good. I might have a good bit that I can keep in for a clip.
Shut up!
Stupid
No,
ass.
I'm not even thinking about that. I just want to.
Stupid ass. The clip is
so I can
gonna
say
be
bye.
you having to pee.
No!
It's gonna be you peeing. You're gonna be like, Mari, shut up. I'm gonna.
Mari, I can't piss when you're talking. Stop it.
That's the fucking worst, man. When you're, like,
Imagine
taking
the
a
first
poop.
live episode of this podcast as we all get locked in
You-
the bathroom.
You think a
Like
live
something
episode
together.
is in the cards? I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
For the live episode.
Let's all meet at Comic Con and get
Kind of
stuck in the
we're
bathroom
kind of at
or
4
something.
different corners of the continent.
We're also at 4 people who have ever listened to any of it at all.
What?
And it's 3 of us. I don't know which 3, and my dad.
Maybe my
you mean
mom,
our total
but
viewer
I haven't
base.
linked her an episode yet.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright. Are we done?
You
Next
know
mission.
you know we're fucked if my dad ever draws a line and says this podcast is so bad I'm no longer gonna listen to it.
well, who?
That's when
is
you
too
know
much.
it's the problem has happened. The bad.
Let's see when we've made a bad episode.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
When it's only an
I haven't
hour. and
then
5
I'll
minutes.
then I'll start my in-depth Let's Play series.
Yeah, he'll start his Pro Jared channel.
That's the
Hey,
exact-
leave my unicorn alone over here. I'm trying to level up my unicorn over here.
Hey guys, it's me, Paisano 181 here again. I finally downloaded my translated ROM of Mother 3. Got it from my good pal Sushi. He's a member
so
of the
glad we're-
Yakuza.
I'm so glad we're bringing this bit to the audiences. The truly
To the world.
For those who didn't pick up on it, it's a Bronx Italian guy who does Let's Plays of JRPGs on YouTube.
We have to explain it for the folks at home and Mari and Ryan.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yosuke! What are you doing?
I'm telling you, son. I'm getting a package in tomorrow. It's either gonna be $700 million or enough anthrax to kill.
Okay.
us all.
All right. No. This is
Okay, we
oh,
did.
God.
We ripped off someone's obvious bit from their most popular video, so now we can stop.
Nah,
Are we stopping the
You
record?
and your bladder.
Um,
Are we stopping?
you guys ever see that video?
Do we have
you guys
anything
ever
more
see that
to say?
video?
I
with those
already said
kids?
see you next mission.
With those kids, and then like one
All right,
of them,
I'm gonna hit stop.
one of them violently attacks the other with
I'm
his
not gonna hit
teeth. And turns out his name is Charlie. So it's like, I think it's God, what's the word they use? I think it's
Bit
bite.
me.
Yeah, bite, right. And he sort of just like he just attacks this other kid. It's like totally unprovoked, like senseless violence, a la like funny games. You know, it's sort of like funny games. It's a lot. There's a lot of Hanukkah influence.
It really shows you the violent tendencies of Gen Y and the millennials.
Yeah, right. Which is why they must be exterminated.
Exactly.
And this is without question.
Yes.
True.
True.
I mean, they literally are because of the
Anyone aged 21 to 27
what
right now?
That's not even close to accurate.
I don't have an age, so technically I'm excluded from this.
Yeah, I'm just a concept.
Okay, whoever was 16 in 2013,
I don't-
dead.
Math is hard. You're gonna need to do better.
Meth is hard. Good night, everyone.
Hold it in.
Man of Darkness
Hold
or
it
whatever
in,
it
you
was
fucking
called.
pussy.
Man of
Hold it
Darkness.
in.
Man of Medan. Man of Murder.
Heart of Darkness.
Hold it.
Heart. What
Hold
was the
it
movie?
in.
Hold it. Holding it.
Hold in the P. Hold it in.
Holding it.
Now this is like a weird fetish thing. Now you're like telling me to hold in my piss.
So anyway, next week, Andy Warhol's Empire.
Hey.
No, Andy Warhol's blow job.
Nah.
And I'll know if you didn't watch all of it. I'll know.
Well, because you're going to send us a special copy that has like several single frame images edited in, and you'll quiz us on it.
No, it connects to the internet, and I can see what your DVD player is doing.
Oh, it's actually it has
like
a hidden action script embedded
Like a
in the
Mr.
video
Robot.
file.
Right,
that
yeah.
gives you access to the video camera.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Mr. Robot, yeah.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Don't do that.